mesa, her looming shadow grows, hidden in the branches of the poison creosote.
Hey everybody, my name is Bobby Kawecki and welcome back. First video of 2020, I think. I know it's been a while, I've been doing a whole lot of stuff, but don't worry, I got plenty of videos coming out soon, a lot of cool stuff I want to share with you guys. But what have I been doing in the meantime? Well, one of the things I've been doing is rewatching one of my favorite shows ever, and that is True Detective, season 1. Season 2, 3, they kind of fall off, but season 1 is pretty much, in my opinion, as good and near to perfect as television has ever been across the board. The acting, the writing, the story, all of it flawless. But what really stuck out to me this most recent time that I've been watching it is the intro. Really cool, looks something like this. Pretty neat, right? Well, if you wanted to make a cool double exposure, kind of gritty, moody intro like that, you're probably thinking, well, I need After Effects, I need to do all this rendering. No, you don't. All you need is Photoshop and a little bit of Premiere, and you're good to go. Super easy. So in today's video, I want to show you guys how to make a cool double exposure intro like True Detective. Let's get it. Alright, so here we are in Photoshop. I have imported this photo of this handsome devil from actually a shoot I did about a year ago. It was on a some sort of police TV show. I think it was Law and Order or FBI, something like that. One of those TV shows. But first thing we're going to do to get us started here is we're going to hit our brush tool, or a quick selection tool rather. And we're gonna go up to select and mask. That's gonna give us this red overlay here. No big deal. We're gonna hit select subject and then beautiful. I'm all cut out there. We're gonna scroll down and make sure that I have layer mask, output to layer mask selected, and we're gonna hit okay. Seems pretty standard so far, standard stuff, right? Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a new page, 1920 by 1080, and we are going to delete our background, and I'll explain why in a second, right? So after we delete our background rather. So first thing we're gonna do is we are going to put on a color fill. Kind of that like off-white, gray kind of feel to it. Something like this, I'm a fan of that, all right? So we're gonna add our color fill. We're gonna go back over to our photo layer. If you have been on a TV show where you played a law enforcement officer and you have this kind of a photo, works great. If not, any photo will do. We're gonna hit Command C to copy. We're gonna go over to our layer here. We're gonna hit Command V, bam, there I am. But I'm a little bit big, I take up quite a bit of the frame, so we're gonna hit Alt, and we're just gonna scale me down just a little bit, move me around some, get the badge in there, get that whole gritty cop drama feel going. Okay, I like everything center, so we're gonna hit that, and we're gonna get me center, about there. All right, I like that. Next thing we're gonna do, we've got our background, we've got our person that we wanna make the double exposure. Everything's pretty easy so far. Next thing we're gonna do is we are going to drag in our video file. In this case, I just found some stock footage of like a moody city online. I will link the download down in the description. I'll put it in a Google Drive so you guys wanna use the same video, free stock footage. If you guys have access to stock footage sites, I'm sure you guys will make that work too. Bam. But now you can't see us. So what do we do from there? Well, what we're gonna do is we're going to copy the layer mask over. So in doing that, we're going to hit Alt on our keyboard, hover over the layer mask, and drag that bad boy up. Bam! Now we're getting somewhere, right? But you can't see me, not a problem. We're gonna click on our layer 1. This is going to be our subject layer, and we're gonna hit Alt again and drag this, holding Alt, and that's gonna make a copy, and now you see me again. Here is where it really starts to come together. We're going to go to the blending mode and we're going to hit lighten, right? So now we're kind of getting a better picture of where and how this whole thing is supposed to look. And from here, it's pretty much done. All you got to do is just brush out the excess. So first we're going to go to the layer mask down here, the layer mask of the video, And we're gonna choose our brush tool by hitting B. And with an opacity, I choose an opacity of 70. We're just gonna start brushing out my face here. Obviously we wanna see what's going on, but again, we do definitely wanna leave these bits where it's showing through. So we don't wanna brush out too much, but I definitely wanna get a little more of my face in there. Now we're gonna jump over to the layer mask of me and start deleting some stuff around the edges here. Just give it a little more opacity through the image, just so it's showing through a little bit more while you still see me. There's a road here in this video. So yeah, perfect. I definitely want to get some of that road in there. Leave the badge, leave that. Get a tiny little bit more of my face in here. But I really just want to focus it maybe around the eyes, the nose, the mouth, that T-zone right there. The rest, it can kind of be focused in the middle and spread out from there. Pretty cool so far, but it's not moving because you're saying to yourself, it's Photoshop, it's photos, they don't move. We'll get to that in just a second. So from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna still kind of tweak this a little bit. I'm not sure I love the way this is making my shoulder look, so is this? Yeah, so we're gonna brush in a little bit more on the shoulder here, a little bit more here, but not too much. And at this point, it's just tweaking back and forth, just kind of brushing in and out of the layers, making sure that you've got sort of the image you want. I'm happy with this. For these purposes, I'm happy with this. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna hit V on the keyboard to pull up our mouse. We're gonna hit Alt again, and now we're gonna drag our video layer below our original layer here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click and we're going to hit Delete Layer Mask. What that's gonna do is it's gonna bring up the entire background. Obviously this doesn't look good. If you watch that True Detective intro in the beginning, there was a white background, right? Like it wasn't just the person, not a problem. So with that layer selected, we are going to go over to Image, Adjustments, Black and White, and this is gonna really just suck all the color out of the image and give it that really moody, gritty tone, okay? Pretty cool, but it's too in focus. We want me to be the focus here. Still not a problem. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we're gonna I put about 9 pixels. That's like your standard Gaussian blur, and it really gets rid of that background. And bam, bam, look at that. We're starting to really get somewhere, but still this image isn't moving. The whole thing that makes that True Detective intro cool is that the image is moving. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to pull up our timeline, which is gonna be these 3 little squares here. If you don't have them, you're gonna go over to Window and just make sure Timeline. And then from there, create video timeline. And it's gonna create it, look at that. You're gonna wanna pull this up and make sure all your layers are of equal time running, right? So we're just gonna drag all these bad boys to the end. Bam, bam, boom, bam. That guy there, this guy here. Okay, here we go. No, that guy went a little too far. Back this way. Perfect. All right, and now we're gonna drag down and we are gonna hit play. And as you can see, the cars are moving through the image. That time lapse is going. You're still getting motion in the background on that black and white layer, but it's not what the focus is. We're gonna hit stop, and now we're gonna export this. We're gonna export this into Premiere Pro, and we're gonna get like a cool, just a quick little, just a keyframe motion where we're zooming in, getting that sort of motion within the scene, if you will, like in the True Detective intros. Alrighty, so super easy. Once we wanna export, we're gonna just wanna go to File, Export, and Render Video. Give that a second to do its thing. Yes, 1920 by 1080, 30 frames a second. Cool, 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 cool. And render. Let that do its thing, and then when we come back, we're gonna import this into Premiere Pro and get a cool, nice effect going on, and it'll be good to go. Alrighty, so here we are in Premiere Pro. We've got our video all loaded in, and if we play it, looks pretty cool. We've got this whole kind of day scene shifting into night scene. You get a lot of cool movement in here with the clouds, but it's a little too static, right? So I definitely want to add some motion keyframes, super easy to do, and that's basically all we're gonna do with this, right? So once we have our clip selected, we're gonna go over to effect controls. We're going to hit the little stopwatches here to start our keyframes, and that's gonna be at the beginning of the clip. Then we're gonna wanna go to the end of the clip, about here, and we're just gonna wanna zoom in. Let's just do like a slow zoom, and let's go here. A little bit back more, right? So let's see how this looks. But in order to make this really sell, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here up in our effects panel, we're gonna wanna right click, we're gonna wanna go to temporal interpolation, we're gonna wanna ease out of the first keyframes, and we're gonna wanna ease into the second keyframes. And what that does is that just kind of makes it a lot smoother of a motion. So as we see here, coming on in, nice and smooth, bop, bop, bop. Beautiful. And there you go. A true cinemagraph for all you true detective fans out there. Now, you didn't really need to even bring this into Premiere. Once you had your image in Photoshop, your cinemagraph is done. You can export it as a GIF, you can export it as a video. I know the pretty famous Instagram one is the person pouring water, pouring coffee, the stream is moving, but nothing else in the photo is. Totally cool, totally fine. I'm just a big fan of True Detective, and I hope you are too. If you guys like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, all that good kind of YouTube jazz, and I'll see you guys on the next video.